Myself begins with bergamot and orange blossom as its main combination. It's fresh and it also has a bit of a creaminess to how it smells, mostly due to the orange blossom note, which doesn't have as much of an opening sweetness, thanks to that large citrus start. But the very opening stage is a bergamot-centered fragrance. That will change later on, but for the start it's a fresh, citrusy cologne. Le Parfum opens up fresh and sweet. Here, there still seems to be a touch of that bergamot in the mix, but this version is much more orange blossom dominant. The orange blossom sweetness is pretty bubblegum-like, with how it comes across, but I think it is kept in check well by that top use of black pepper. A nice kick of spice, but not too much of it. It's warm, and I also get a decent amount of the woods and patchouli during this opening act. Let's move on to how each of these fragrances projects. Myself for the first hour is actually fairly strong. Not a heavy fragrance, but it will create a substantial enough scent trail in your wake. After that, it's more of an intimate scent surrounding you. I'd say it sticks in that 1 to 3 foot range off of the skin, but it's still noticeable. Le Parfum is a heavier cologne than is the EDP. It is also the more powerful of the two, as far as projection goes. Still, it's not a great deal more powerful, and it's not a beast. But it does give you more punch throughout than the original. With EDP, it will last for 6 to 7 hours on my skin. It's okay, a bit disappointing for this price range. By no means terrible. Le Parfum seems to deliver 9 and possibly 10 hours on my skin, depending on the day. It's a pretty easy win for the newer scent in higher concentration. Myself Eau de Parfum is just such an inoffensive and easy-to-wear fragrance that it can fit in pretty much anywhere during any time of year. It's an easy one to just spray on as an everyday wear, but is attractive enough to hit the nightlife, even if that's not its main function. With Le Parfum, you get a lot of the same. Better than EDP in the colder weather, but doesn't hold up to the same degree in the heat. It's not bad in the higher temperatures, but EDP is better in that regard. I think Le Parfum is the better nightlife or romantic wear. It's got greater depth than just being a clean daily wear. As such, I would give it the slight edge here. Overall, which one of these YSL fragrances do I like more? It's actually a somewhat tight contest between these two, or at least. For me, while I really do enjoy the opening act of EDP, it's not as exciting on the dry down. Plus, that fresh and clean heavy citrus type of aroma isn't something that I always want. With Parfum, I think that it gets better, and the longevity also gives it an edge. Between them, I lean more towards Parfum. The more that I wore each of these scents, the more Le Parfum started to grow on me. The vanilla, amber, and orange blossom blend are really great in the back half. Le Parfum has moment where it is powdery, then it's woodier, then it's more of an amber floral, which the trio of those three notes is also found in Le Male by Gaultier, and during the heavier vanilla parts, there is a bit of a resemblance. There's more depth here. You're just giving up the bergamot citrus explosion that you get with Myslf EDP. However, I will add a caveat. Myslf Parfum is a much more floral fragrance. It actually smells quite a bit like the long discontinued YSL L'Homme Parfum Intense, just with more depth and better performance. It's like they took the original, added vanilla, stripped most of the citrus, and fused it with L'Homme Parfum Intense. It's also more unisex, and some might find Myslf Parfum to be feminine with how it comes across. So if you prefer the citrus floral aroma, you'll want to go with Myslf EDP instead. But if you have the opportunity, I'd test both of them out. Again, I like both, and it's not a huge gap between them, but I do seem to have a definite preference for Le Parfum.